Something I don't talk about very often here on my channel is that I am completely independent. I feature the watches that I want to feature here on my channel. And a few weeks ago, Mito released a watch that I fell in love with. It's a reissue of their 1959 Commander. It's a watch that's been in production since 1959. It's a really weird watch called the Pixel. So basically they just took this old version of their watch, they reissued it in very faithful form. They've come out with it in many different iterations, and for one reason or another, they decided to put a bunch of pixels on the dial and put some Loom in those pixels. It's really weird, surprisingly affordable. So let's flip the camera and take a look at one of the funkiest watches that have come out in the last few years. It's from Mito, and I just love it. It's a Mito Commander 1959 Pixel. I love it when a brand takes a vintage watch and puts a modern twist on it and really keeps it still pretty faithful to the original watch that it is recreating. This is a Commander 1959, and when I saw this watch, when it was released, I was smitten. I really wanted to get this watch hands on, and I really want to buy this watch. I think this is really cool. Now, I've seen the Commander 1959 in the past. I think it's a good looking watch. Really, the 1960s is when these types of watches were popular. They're not integrated bracelet watches, but they are. They're essentially a disc case. There are a few brands who have reissued watches like this or created watches like this. This is a circle. And then there is a mesh bracelet that fits into the case. You really can't put a regular leather strap on this watch. You have to use it on this bracelet. But it is a very tight mesh, so it's not one of those mesh bracelets that's going to pull your hair. It looks very 60s or 70s inspired, but at the same time, when you look at that dial, it gives you a little bit of a modern feeling because they've put pixels all over the dial and they have loomed some of those pixels. This is an affordable watch. Comes from Mito. Mito make, I think, in my opinion, they make some of the best affordable watches out of all of the watches from the Swatch group. I really like Tissot, the PRX, obviously a great watch, but Mito also have some pretty incredible designs, and I'm going to be featuring some of them here on my channel. And it gets an automatic movement inside. They call it the Caliber 80. It's really the Powermatic 80, essentially. So you're getting 80 hours of power reserve. You do not get to see it from the case back, but you do get a solid case back, and it just says a little bit of information about the watch. It is all polished. So essentially the case is all polished. There's a little bit of brushing on it as well. And like I said, it is circular. You have a very small crown that is signed, and it's almost flush with the case. And the reason why they do that is because they want it to look very circular. So a large crown would sort of interrupt the lines of this watch. It's only around 10 millimeters thick, which is excellent. And it's a 36.8 millimeter watch, so around a 37 millimeter watch. And that's if you measure it from lug to lug or side to side, it doesn't make a difference. The bracelet does wear a little bit like a cuff, so it will wear larger than that lug to lug. But with that being said, it wears very comfortable. And the bracelets on these watches, on these vintage watches and modern recreations of those vintage watches, wear very comfortable for two reasons. Number one, the mesh is solid, so it's not going to bother your hair. It feels really nice, and usually they are of a high quality, or at least they feel like a high quality compared to the price point. So this feels almost like a piece of jewelry rather than a bracelet, and because of that, it's very comfortable. And like I said, it just looks more expensive than it actually is. And number two, it's infinitely adjustable. Because it is a mesh bracelet, you could move that buckle, really get a very fine adjustment to your wrist size and leave it there and put it on every day. And it's on the fly. So if you're out and you are expanding a little bit, maybe you're drinking, maybe you're out in the sun or whatever it is, you're hot, you could just take it off your wrist, really just pop it out, and then you slide it down, and that's it. So they work really well, and they're kind of the first on-the-fly micro adjust. Also, this does get 50 meters of water resistance, because technically this is a dress watch, and the fact that it gets 50 meters of water resistance is pretty good, I'd say, not 30 meters. They're giving you 50, so you could definitely shower with this on if you wanted to. Do whatever you want. This can be your daily companion, and you'll have plenty of water resistance. You get an acrylic crystal, which is kind of different and probably one of the reasons why this is on the cheaper side, and I'll tell you about price in just a few seconds. You have a boxed acrylic crystal that is also kind of domed as well. It looks really good. The handset is, I guess you would call them stick hands. Those are loomed, and then you have a needle seconds hand. You have applied indices. Those just have a little bit of loom on them. And then you have a multi-color dial that is pixelated. So there's just pixels. It doesn't really draw out anything or make a picture or anything like that. It's just different color pixels on the dial. And a few of those pixels, actually more than a few, there's a good amount of them that are loomed. When you look at the dial, it almost looks like a rainbow dial. It's predominantly a purplish red color, or maybe closer to pink than red, but it's a bunch of different colors, and it all meshes really well together, and I just think it looks really cool. Up top you have the Mito logo that's applied. Down at the bottom it says Commander. That is also applied. Really a lot of watch for the money, and this watch doesn't cost a ton of money. $740 I think is awesome for what you're getting here, and I don't know, I just think it's good looking. All of them are good looking. This is just a weird version that I've never would have expected Mito to do, and that's the reason why I like it. Very quickly, let me show you the watch that I have on my wrist. I'll throw this watch on my wrist, and then we will do a loom shot. Today I have an integrated bracelet watch on. This is my 12X from Christopher Ward, a fully skeletonized version of their SH21. Just a really good looking watch that is somewhat affordable, especially considering what you're getting. I just really love the look of this watch, and I cannot wait to see what they come out with next. There it is on my 7.5 inch wrist. Like I was saying, this is around 10 millimeters thick, 37 millimeter case, 37 millimeter lug to lug. It's, you know, a little bit bigger than that because of the bracelet, but I think it wears like a 37 millimeter or a 38 millimeter watch. Really, if you take a look, it looks pretty, I think, at home on my 7.5 inch wrist. It's a really good looking, interesting cocktail watch, or disc watch, or whatever they call these, from the 1960s and 1970s. I think it's just really cool, and I really love the dial. From far away, it doesn't really scream colorful. It just looks like there are dots there, and there's a couple of little colors that you can make out, but I just think it looks really cool. Well, there you go. The loom is awesome on here. It looks like a starry night, but it's kind of split between a bluish green loom and then some pink loom that you see up at the top of the dial. And then all of the indices are loomed. There's just little dots of loom, and then the hands are loomed as well. This is cool. It's something special, and it's not that expensive. $740. You're getting a Powermatic 80 inside, automatic movement, Swiss made, special dial, beautiful bracelet. Really a beautiful case as well. Everything about this watch, it feels really well made. I really like Mito in general. I think they do a really good job with a lot of their watches, a lot of their dive watches. Just a really good value as well. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I'll put a link to this watch down in the description. I have no idea if they still have these, because I think they sold out once. They probably will sell out again, but this is not a limited edition, I want to say, so I think they will restock these. So definitely keep an eye out if you are interested in this, as, you know, just a really interesting, fun watch. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I'll put a link down in the description. And that's really it, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, I will catch you guys in the next video.